Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holder Community, Oceania Hundoke. And today is Ahn Shi Il, and it's a beautiful Monday morning. It's the 1st of December 2025, or the 12th of October in the 13th year of Chongyalguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, Chanji Champuminge, Kyombe, Paro. And let's recite our family pledge both in Korean and English.
가전맨세 6. 천일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 손을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 6. Our family, the owner of Chongyalguk, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessing to our community by centering on true love.
Thank you, and I'd like to share Mother's prayer that she gave on the 17th of February 2013. Heavenly Parent, may glory be with heaven, and may praise and exaltation overflow in all people on earth. True parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we are so grateful you have worked so hard. We know that today we are unworthy creatures that cannot stand under the wing of this great blessing and grace, yet heaven has broadly and magnanimously embraced us today. Father, how can we be the only ones to receive this grace and deeply moving experience? To you, our Heavenly Parent, we pledge and resolve once again to move as one force toward the completion of Chongyalguk until the end of our days. Heavenly Parent, please embrace us. We have the fervent desire to stand before you as children who can receive your love and be proud. Our dear God, on this occasion I beseech you, our Heavenly Parent, please protect us to the very end, and may your will be accomplished well throughout the entire world. Arju. Thank you, and let's give a warm welcome to Rev Kenji as he shares this morning.
Good morning, all brothers and sisters of the Oceania family. Just let me set up. Just a moment, please. Oh, so long one is showing. Just a moment. Probably change the setting. Just a moment. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so today is 12th day of 10th month, 13th year of Chongyalguk, and also the 1st of December 2025. So happy Ahn Shi Il to you all. So today is the 20. So entering the December, the last month of the 2025, and I just remember that the Reverend Yutaka mentioned about the this year's 33 years since the true parents visited the Oceania. And 33 years ago, yesterday was a day that true father gave the calligraphy in Sydney, saying that stating that the unified world begins from Oceania. And 3 days after, 4 days after, 3rd of December, Father gave us the salvation of all humanity is through self-power or self-reliance. So basically, 33 years has passed, and we are going towards the 34 years. And somehow we go beyond the 33 years, which remind us of the life of the Jesus, and now getting into the after Jesus physical life, and we are the one we should be able to really inherit the spirit of the Jesus and also the true parents, and we should harvest from now on. And also this year is the 20 years anniversary of the inauguration of the Universal Peace Federation. And around this time, 20 years ago, through parents were traveling with the private jet, and on the 5th of December, which was the unforgettable day for me, for the members of the Fiji, as the true parents' private jet was rejected, and instead they went to the Samoa, and then came to the New Zealand, and our family was the called to come to attend the true parents inauguration speech in New Zealand, which was held on the 8th of December. So anyway, I just collected some photos on that occasion, and let's see. So so this is a statement, excerpt of the statement that our president of the Universal Peace Federation International, they gave the official statement. And just let me read. Our principle remain unchanged. So peace begins with the family. True leadership is rooted in service, and the reconciliation across all boundary is possible when we center our actions on shared spiritual values. As we look ahead, so UPF reaffirmed its commitment to supporting the United Nations, expanding its peace initiatives worldwide, and creating healthier, more hopeful information space online in a time of uncertainty and division. So we pledge to remain a steadfast voice for unity, dignity, and peace. So that's the statement for the next 20 years onwards. That's the mission of the UPF. So then I'd like to share the first part of the inaugural message for the Universal Peace Federation by Reverend Dr. Samuel Moon, which is God's ideal family and the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world. And in the end, I just would like to share the personal experience through this worldwide tour, and special the message we got from the true parents. So bullet points in the speech is that shown here, and just would like to cover the first 5 points and the last points. So let's begin. So first part of the speech was the call for the world peace and the mission of the Universal Peace Federation. So this is a photo which was taken on the 8th of December, 20 years ago. Very beautiful setting. And some prominent leaders were there. So let's start reading. So distinguished world leaders, ambassador for peace and blessed family members who have come from all parts of the world in the hope of the bringing about the realization of the world peace and building the ideal hometown in heaven and on earth. So I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all of you for coming together in the midst of your busy schedules to take part in the events marking the second anniversary of the establishment. Speech picked up was that second anniversary of establishment of the Universal Peace Federation. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the 21st century, we find ourselves at a truly historic turning point. So we are at a point of decision. Can everlasting world peace take root, or are we doomed to repeat the 20th century's dark and oppressive history of war and conflict? The 20th century was the period of the ceaseless struggle, including that of the colonized countries to gain their independence, the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, and the Cold War. Living through this era, I dedicated my life entirely to bring about the kingdom of peaceful ideal world. I have always prayed sincerely that the United Nations, founded after the Second World War, would be an institution for peace, and that it would uphold God's will for the realization of eternal world peace. The United Nations has indeed made an important contribution to peace. Nevertheless, around its 16th anniversary in 2005, there was a broad consensus, both inside and outside organization, that the UN had yet to discover the way to fulfill its founding purposes. The number of member states approaches 200, but the offices of these states do little more than represent and even insist on their own interest. So they seem inherently unable to resolve conflict and achieve peace. So I would like once more to declare today before all humanity the message I gave throughout the Universal Peace Federation inauguration tour. It's launched on September 12, 2005, in which took me to 120 nations around the world. So it is entitled God's Ideal Family and the Kingdom of the Peaceful Ideal World. The mission of the Universal Peace Federation is to renew the existing United Nations, a Kane-type UN, and provide a new level of leadership as an able type, UN. So it will unite heaven and earth and form the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world. So this message should be engraved on the heart of humankind. It is heaven's special blessing in this era after the coming of heaven. It is also warning to us that so we should take to heart and put into action. So through parents' message, which was given almost 20 years ago, still giving us the fresh, the inspiration and deep insight as what Father said was exactly as going on, and UN simply put dysfunctional, but yet UN is the biggest worldwide organization to deal with the peace, and we should be able to cope with them rather than ignoring or accusing the institution. So that's the principle of the give and take action. So God's purpose for creating human beings and the ideal family, the three defining the elements of the parent-child relationship: love, life, and lineage. God's investment in humanity and the necessity of partnership. So let me read. God's ideal family, respected world leaders. So what do you think is God's ultimate purpose for creating human beings? Simply put, it is to experience joy through relating with ideal families, filled with true love. So what does an ideal family look like? So first, each person in the family owner of true love. So when God first created human beings, he made Adam representing all men and Eve representing all women, with the intention that they become owners of true love. The quickest way for them to cultivate a character of true love was to secure a parent-child relationship with God, whereby they could live attending God as their father. They were to have followed the path of living as one family with God. I invite you to enter into a transcendent state and prayerfully ask God, what is the center of the universe? The answer you hear will undoubtedly be the parent-child relationship. Nothing is more important or more precious than the relationship between parent and child. So this is because it defines that fundamental relationship between the Creator and human beings. Then, what defines the parent-child relationship? Three things: life, love, life, and lineage. The first is love. So we can love with the true love because God, our true parent, first loved us with true love. So created human beings out of his absolute love to be his partners in love. So this relationship forms an axis of love, linking God, the Father, with the human beings as his sons and daughters. Could there be anything higher or more precious than to be a son or daughter of God? If anything were higher, then surely human beings would aspire to attain it. But there is nothing higher. Do you think that when the all-knowing and all-powerful God created Adam and Eve, that he secretly reserved the highest position for himself and made Adam and Eve to be only second best? So we cannot imagine that God would do that to his children, to his partners who share absolute love with him. As our eternal true parent, God invested himself 100% in the creation of human beings and endowed us with the right to equal status with him, to participate in his work as equals, to live within and to inherit from him. God bestowed upon human beings all of his attributes. Though God is the absolute being, he cannot be happy alone. Adjectives such as good and happy cannot apply to any being that lives in isolation. They apply only where there is a dynamic mutual relationship. So imagine a professional singer who finds herself on an inhabited island. She may sing at the top of her voice, but with no one to listen. So will it bring her happiness? So in the same way, even the self-existence God absolutely needs a partner with whom to share love in order to experience joy and be happy. So path to becoming the God's partners and inheritors, the responsibility of embodying true love and resolving God's grief. This is a photo taken after the the speech, public speech, I think which was taken on the 9th of December, 20 years ago. And you see several people whom you know. And one American brother, whose the husband is looking at the father. And I was there too, just behind, far behind the left, and looking farther with the kind of anxious mind, as I still felt that I made the biggest embarrassment to true parents. And anyway, let me continue reading. Next is life. What shall we live to become God's partner and return joy to him? In other words, how shall we live to become children of God, so people whom God delights to call my son or my daughter? So because he sees in us a divinity equal to his own. So how can we become the God's partners in completing the work of creation? Partners who will inherit the entire creation? So this is my answer. So we should emulate the ideal that God set up at the beginning of his creative act. At the beginning of the creation, God acted upon the principle of living for the sake of others. So in other words, so he acted for the sake of those whom he created as his longed-for partners in true love. The practice of true love formed a core of his initial creative act. Therefore, to become the God's children, our first responsibility is to resemble him. So we need to embody true love. The way to embody true love begins with living as a devoted child, then a patriot, saint, and finally a divine son or daughter of God. At that stage, so we can experience the innermost emotions of God's heart and resolve the grief that he has experienced for tens of thousands of years since the fall of Adam and Eve. So God is almighty, so it was not due to any shortcoming or lack of ability that he has been imprisoned in great pain and has endured immense suffering behind the scenes of history. Rather, there are provisions in the principle of restoration, so which he has not been free to disclose, that called him to wait with forbearance until Adam and Eve's positions lost at the human fall were recovered through the appearance of the perfected second Adam. Although God is all-powerful, he will not set aside the eternal laws and the principles that he himself established. So anyway, today is the 1st of December, and all of us know that today is a very crucial day for our beloved true mother. Whatever decision going to be made, but the more clarification come out, and so true mother is really God's daughter and the God's position as well, and still heavenly parents not eased by the situation, and we really need to respond to heavenly parents' expectation to us. So, talking about God's greatest grief, the loss of the lineage, the role of the lineage in creating the ideal families and the nations, consequence of the fall, and God's original intention for humanity. You know what has pained God's heart the most, causing him the greatest grief over the long history since the fall of Adam and Eve. So God lost his lineage, and with the loss of his lineage, he lost his right of ownership. So let me talk about lineage for a moment. So lineage is more important than the life and more important than love. So life and love can come together to create lineage. So lineage cannot be established if either life or love is missing. So therefore, among the three qualities that define the parent-child relationship, love, life, and lineage, a lineage is the fruit. God's lineage contains the seed of true love. So God's lineage provides the context and the environment for the true life. Hence, for us to become the ideal people envisioned by God, that is, people of ideal character, and to create ideal families, so we first need to be linked his lineage. To take it a step further, only when we are linked to God's lineage is it possible to create God's homeland, the ideal nation? Only when we are linked to God's lineage is it possible to establish a kingdom of the peaceful ideal world. Please inscribe the importance of lineage in your hearts. I cannot emphasize this enough. So without lineage, neither life nor love can endure. So you strive to set a good tradition, but it will endure only through your lineage. So lineage is the bridge allowing the parent spirit to carry on through subsequent generations. So in other words, so lineage is the first and the final condition necessary for parents to harvest the fruits of their love, the fruits of their life, and the fruits of their joy. So we need to know this with certainty. So yet, when Adam and Eve fell, so this lineage, more precious than life, was lost. The fruits of true life and true love never matured. So they became the fruits of Satan, lacking any relationship with heaven. From them descended the 6 billion people now inhabiting the earth. The God intended for the seeds he planted in the springtime of the Garden of Eden to grow into a bountiful crop that he could harvest in the autumn. The idea of God's creation was to raise Adam and Eve, his son and daughter, to the point where they would blossom in true love, flourish with true life, and bear fruit in a true lineage. God desired to gather up owners and families of eternal life, eternal love, and eternal lineage, and to bring about his kingdom of peaceful ideal world as their homeland. So in this context, through Mother's Day emphasis, uniting with the 4-position foundation of a true family as the really relevant and essential the axis for all of us, 4-position foundation of the true family. Of the Father's love and the lineage, life and lineage on humanity, God's original plan for Adam and Eve and the loss of ownership, the path to restoration through the true love and the emergence of true parent. The hope for all humanity. The God's suffering in search of the true parents. So instead, however, it was a father's love, father's life, and father's lineage that infested the earth. God's love, life, and lineage fell into the hands of the adulterous Satan, the enemy of love. Heaven and earth were suffocated and transformed into hell. The world became a wretched place, far from God's presence. Yet humanity to this day lives in ignorance of this. So people are deluded into believing that the lineage of enemy is the lifeline upon which the world depends. So this is the wretched truth about humanity descended from the fall. So that is why we refer to this world as hell on earth. God views humanity's tragic situation with a heart full of pain. So after creating Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, God intended to marry them with his holy blessing and bequeath to them heaven's right of ownership. God wanted Adam and Eve to inherit from him the ownership of the entire universe. So, however, all of this came under Satan's control because of the fall. So, God is like a father who labored and sweated his entire life to accumulate the assets for his children, only to have a thief steal everything overnight. Hand. Sorrowful, painful heart of God. God lost his lineage, lost his children, and was forced to hand over the ownership of the nations and the world to Satan. There was only one way to recover this lineage and ownership. So this was the path to win the natural subjugation of Satan, to have Satan surrender voluntarily. So what is the secret to accomplish this? So it can only be accomplished by the power of true love. So when we love our enemies more than we love our own children, has there ever been a time when God could rejoice with human beings as their true father and true mother, enjoying the natural bonds of the parent and child? So has God enjoyed even a year of comfort with his children, knowing that what he created was good? So the answer is no. God has not experienced such joy for even 1 hour. And has anyone been able to comfort God in this pain? No. So because no one has known the reason for the unbridgeable gap that has separated God from humankind for tens of thousands of years. So no one has known why God and humanity are in such a tragic situation. So biblical account of the Cain and Abel reveals the beginnings of human conflict even within Adam's family. So it reveals the archetype for the humankind, the unending history of struggle, war, and conflict. So we are in conflict on the many levels, beginning with the war between mind and body, within each individual, and extending to wars between nations and even to the global conflict between the materialism and theism. The extreme selfish individualism threatens the prosperity even today. So we deem young people to be the hope of humanity, holding the promise for the future, but drugs and free sex enslave them. Advanced countries seem to believe that material goods are all that matter. They recognize only their own interest while ignoring the misery of tens of thousands who die of the starvation every day. So who can unite this ancient knot of Cain and Abel? You untie this ancient knot of Cain and Abel. So it has been tightened for the 1,000 years, and they grow ever more entangled. So do you think the United Nations can do it? The UN at its founding proclaimed a movement for world peace, and for the 60 years it has dedicated itself to this task, yet world peace still remains far distant. Peace among nations can never come. So when those entrusted with the task have not resolved Cain-Abel relationship between their own mind and body are not united. Just a moment. So, so in this sense, it is a miracle that for the first time in human history, man has indeed succeeded in attaining the position of the Adam. He has secured the status of the owner of the true love and received God's anointing as the true parents of humanity. It is an amazing fact that his lifetime coincides with yours, and that you and he breathes the same air. He is the true parent on earth who comes to rescue fallen humanity. I, Reverend Moon, gained the victory in that position, and on that foundation, on January 13th, 2001, I dedicated to heaven the coronation ceremony for the kingship of God. So by the ceremony, I liberated and released God, our vertical true parent, who has taken responsibility for providence of restoration in restoration. So in all of history, this was the highest and the greatest blessing humanity has ever received. So this victory was absolute, unique, unchanging, and eternal. Through this absolute providential victory, God's body and mind are completely liberated. Then, just going to our conclusion of this speech. So I ask you to devote your best effort as the true parents have for the development and the success of the Universal Peace Federation and toward creating God's ideal family, ideal nation, and the peace kingdom. So please become true princes and princesses who can attend and live together with God, the eternal peace king and the true parent of humanity. So let us fulfill dutiful family way of devoted sons and daughters, patriots, saints, and members of the family of God, and create the eternal kingdom of the peaceful ideal world. So may God's blessing be with you, your families, and your nations. Thank you. So this is a beautiful photo which was taken on the 8th of December 2005 at the hotel in the Auckland. And so true parents' presence was a manifestation of the God's true love, really. That's what I felt through this photo. Anyway, a lot of things coming up, remembering what happened 20 years ago. At the time, most of us felt that it was peak and the kingdom God on earth gonna be established anytime soon. And I'd just like to tell briefly about the my personal experience during the inaugural speaking tour of the Universal Peace Federation. So in New Zealand, true parents invited the disciples, two of the three disciples, Reverend Kim Wonpil and Reverend Kim Young-hee, and Father asking them to give a testimony to us. At the time, I and my wife was a national leaders couple, missionaries couple to the Fiji, and we were preparing with the beloved brothers and sisters who were sent to the Fiji to prepare to receive the true parents in the finest facility in Fiji, with the support from the Embassy of Peace. Even protocol team of the government got involved, but in the end, protocol team withdrew without saying to us anything, because of the spiritual advisors' influence to the prime minister at the time, and the government. And anyway, so you know the story, right? And anyway, after the incident, we could not help but shedding tears, shedding tears, only tears, with the precious brothers and sisters who made an effort to fully welcome the true parents in beautiful country of the Fiji. And I just saw that yeah, true parents scored our couple harshly, that we actually deserve to receive such, the score. But anyway, reflecting upon the why this kind of things happened to us, that well, of course, we didn't have enough foundation in the governmental level, but with the vision that even all the members of parliament had to know about the arrival of true parents, and I sent the invitation to all the member of the parliament and senators as well, and through which people who didn't feel comfortable picked up, and then the invitation letter was handed to long people, and then amplifying the negative effect then to happen. But anyway, after the 1 year, exactly 1 year later, coup happened by the Bainim Lama, and the government who opposed the true parents was the taken out from the government. That was the consequence, and many embassies of peace told us that this is a result of the their action, or something like that. Anyhow, still Fiji, in terms of politics, so many things to be sorted out. But friends, members who had been communicated with, still our friend and updating. So that's actually incident made the kind of eternal relationship, and the true parents didn't call at all, and instead father told us, so we have to inherit the tradition of true parents and pass tradition to the people. So that's the only things that they said to us, and we seriously thought. And this is the words coming from the our tradition guidebook, and let me read as a conclusion. So from now on, you must live with true parents. God is the position of the grandparents. God is in the position of the grandparents. True parents are in the position of the mother and the father. And you are in the position of the first son. The lesson is that 3 generations should live together. So you should live with the feeling resounding in your heart that God is with you and true parents are with you. As blessed families who have lived in the same age as true parents, what should you leave behind? So lineage is important, as are traditions. So what is the tradition of Unification Church? The tradition of Unification Church is divine principle, of course. Divine principle book itself is not our tradition. The tradition is represented by divine principle. That is everything that is behind the divine principle book, which is heart. So centering on the heart of God, so we should keep the tradition that true parents have made, and our responsibility is to pass such beautiful tradition to generation to generation. And emergence of true parents are most precious gift for all of us, and not only for us, but also the all creation. And so let all life cry out. So true parents who are worthy to receive all praise and all glory, the beautiful and the noble one, I praise true parents. Aju. Thank you very much for your kind the attention this morning, and please have a wonderful wonderful day centering on God, and also the good 8 days. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Kenji, for sharing, and really so much a wonderful and sad experience at the same time. My heart feels for you during that time in Fiji when the plane was traveling but couldn't land. But then the blessing, I believe, very much restored in New Zealand. So I think it's no coincidence that you were there for both times, Fiji and New Zealand. So I think though it's regrettable, but it's ultimately it's a success because we are living in this precious golden age, and we are the fulfillment of God's heart. And that process of love, life, and lineage, as we know, it begins with the heart of God, and through His love, the life is here, and then through the blessing, God's kingdom is really realized. And so, really, we can take pride in the fact that we are here and continue to be here, and the providence is never easy. Of course, our desire is to see it realized immediately, but we cannot change other people. We can change ourselves. That's our responsibility, and we can give prayer and devotion and spirit and heart and all the truth. But it's still up to the people we witness to accept their responsibility and join God's family. So it will happen, we know, and we hope that it is realized sooner than later, but it will be realized. So really it's a great moment in history that we all share together. So thank you very much, Reverend Kendi, for your real investment over many years. Thank you, and open up to anyone else who wants to make a comment. Thank you. No, that's okay. It is that time anyway. It's time for our unison prayer, so I'll just bring up the screen. There it is. So let's pray together. Thank you. Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Reverend Kenji, for sharing. And I hope everyone has a great day and see you all again tomorrow. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Reverend Kenji.
Everybody, thank you, Reverend Kenji.
Thank you, Rev Kenji, so much.